Welcome, everybody, to our team call this Saturday. It is so much fun to hear. It was so great to get on here early and hear how many people are tuning in from different places all around the world. And I think that's one thing we heard somebody say, hello, Zinzino family. And I love that because we are not just a business, we are definitely a family. And it's exciting to do these every week. We are having a great call today because most of us that have been doing Zinzino for a while really understand how exciting it is because we have products that are incredible and that they work. We have a company that has things working in like about 150 countries, and we have a system that really works. So what really holds us back? There's nothing holding us back, but what actually could be holding us back? And today we have on one of the most incredible people I probably ever met. He and his wife have been inspiring me, and I definitely feel like family around them. I think everybody who gets to know them does feel that family feeling, and it comes from here. He is the founder of the company and two-star global president. Let's pull him on here. Our own Orjan Saele. Hello, Orjan.
Hi, Carla. Good to see you. Good to see everyone. I thought I'd already unmuted myself, but I was just speaking to the computer without you hearing me. But great to see everyone. So happy to be here with you today. You look great today, Carla, and so do everyone else that I can see. So a very blessed day.
Orjan, I've been doing this for 12 years and I absolutely love Zinzino. And I think a lot of us do. And I know why. I mean, the stories out there is what really motivates me. My own son's story, it's been life-changing for us. And when you change a child's life, you're changing the entire family. And you really want to get the word out because once you see this, you just can't unsee it. So and you have great goals. I mean, I love the fact that, we're our goal of hitting this 1 million here by the end of next year or so, but we're not going to stop there. We're going to 100 million by 2050. And that's exciting. But there are times that can be going up and times that can be going down. And sometimes people get a little frustrated and we have these goals, we want to get there, but what holds us back? And I love the topic of today. Only you stop you. So I'm going to pass that on to you because I know we're all going to be excited to hear what you have to say about it. Orjan?
Well, thank you. And just yesterday, just to share a little bit out of my life, yesterday morning, I had what I would call quite a challenging conversation with a new team, new partner in the team. He's been in for a couple of months. I'd say probably brought in somewhere around 100 partners. Maybe it's only 75, and brought in a few hundred customers in the very, let's say within 90 days, something like that. So a person that did quite well, and we had a challenging conversation about some issues in a fast-growing team and so on. And then in the middle of that, and he has got some experience with another company before, so some trust issues to both me, corporate, the world, whatever we would call. But in the middle of the conversation, when we got towards the end, was the feedback. He said, "Hey, just remember, even though this is a little bit difficult, we're absolutely falling in love with the product line because we're seeing now stories come out that if you told me those as testimonials, which I happen to do, similar stories I happen to share with people, some of the results that are coming out. But and he said, if you'd share this, I wouldn't believe you for a second. I would have so little faith in you if you told me what I now get to witness with my own eyes. So we're absolutely falling in love with the products and we're falling in love with the company. And that's a pretty amazing thing to have happening in the middle of a hard, tough, negative problem-solving conversation. Not many people get to have that. So I feel like one of the most privileged people out there because I get to have this happening to me all the time. Then later on in the evening, completely different setting, had a group of 54 people zooming in from around the world. They're with another company. I was there with the company owners of that company, and they've all decided to basically do something new in their life. So the news will come out in maybe a month or two. Whenever it comes out, it comes out. But telling about our product and the product story, it is such an easy sell. I mean, whenever I meet people, here you have a devoted group that is like as nitty-gritty into nutritional supplements as you can get into nutritional supplements. I'm talking about the kind of group that cooks up their own supplements in their backyard in addition to what they have in the company. Like the most nerdy product people in the entire world. And our story, what we sell, without telling a single testimonial, without telling a single product ingredients, is just so powerful, so convincing, and so absolutely it has to happen. And what I'm referring to is just my story, and I did a long version, 15 minutes, so I'm gonna do the short version. I used omega-3s from I was 7 years old. I sold omega-3s from I was 17 years old. I built a huge business on omega-3s. At 35, I got ill with stomach problems. At 36, I'd given up trying to find a nutritional solution. At 36 and a half, I'd given up trying to find a medical solution. At 37, I'd given up every food except from fish with a little bit of butter, some long cooked meats, potatoes, and boiled vegetables. So everything else, like you mentioned it, I didn't eat it. That was the only thing, only 4 things. Yes, I did have a little bit of salad, but it hurt like crazy. And then in this position, the only supplement that I was still taking when I was 37 was omega-3s, 6 capsules every single day, in addition to eating fish 10 to 14 times every week. And that's when I got introduced to the balanced oil. Now, after a 2-hour lecture with inventors of the product, I did not think for a minute that this would actually change my life. So the product ingredients, all of the things that actually works inside of your body didn't catch my attention at all. But when they said, have you ever tested your omega-6 to omega-3 balance? I said no. And I thought very quickly, hey, I've taken omega-3 since I was 7. I'm eating fish all the time. Literally that day I had fish 2 times that day, 6 omega-3 capsules. So if I'm out of balance, most likely the rest of the world will be. And I saw a huge business potential. I didn't think it was going to change my life. I just thought it was going to change every omega-3 consumer from taking a product, test it, doesn't work, take a product, use it for a month, test it, does work. That's a brilliant business. And that's what led me to take the test. I took the test 10 days later. I found out, and of course, all of you know that the ideal balance is 3 to 1. I found that my balance was 10.4 to 1. That is when I thought, maybe if this product brings me in balance, something will help me. Long story short, 4 months later, 500% improvement in my result, 1.7 to 1. Only took this supplement, went back to eating a completely regular diet in the period because I could handle all foods again. And the second test was the proof of it. And since that, I've not had the issues that I used to have. I mean, that story is so powerful from many, many different ways. You know, my little daughter is crawling around here as if I get a little bit disturbed. It's just her underneath my chair, and she might pop up anytime now. She's just behind. Yeah, there you can see her head back there. That's okay. So I'll just talk with her. How are you, Sarah? Okay, she doesn't want to be in the camera. Maybe she wants later on. Then you can say hi to her. Uh, but here is the amazing thing about that. The only reason why we take omega-3s is for our health. Any person in the world that takes omega-3 takes it for their health. Most people that take a nutritional supplement takes it for their health. Like, how many of you eat, if you did this in the past, eat greens because it tastes good? Like how many are you taking shakes because you think that a ribeye steak is like not compelling? It doesn't do it for you, you know? I mean, it's not why. How many would choose like a diet cookie above a nice salmon steak with no, you see, the point is that we take nutritionals primarily only for one reason: we want to be healthy. It's very seldom anything in this category, even when we change diets. Most of the time, it's not because it's our preferred choice to eat without sauce, without any spices, without a glass of wine, without any dessert. I mean, that's it. Are you guys following me? It's like, if we could have spices, sauce, and glass of wine and dessert and cake and all of those treats. I mean, we love food. I mean, people love food. So you got 500 million people taking omega-3s. There is no other reason than health. And we've got about 3 billion people or somewhere in totally in the group that takes nutritionals, that are specialized diets, including the omega-3 people. And we all do it for one reason only: we want to be healthy. Now, what I discovered was that all of my efforts didn't really work because I was taking it at a wrong dosage, or I was taking it in an ineffective dosage, or I was... It's good to see. Hi. No, she doesn't want to say hi. Maybe in a little while. She's warming up to you. She just wants some daddy time, so that's fine. So all of that happened to me, and the one thing that changed everything was the test. The test changed everything because I became aware. I got a new knowledge, and all of a sudden I would know what to do. And then what I did worked, and it was proven with a second test. So this is why we have these extreme goals. People would call them extreme. Even I would call them extreme, of reaching 100 million customers, because it's a given that we will do that. If just enough people get tested, they would want to take a supplement that would give them a second test result that is an approved one. Are you getting this? And since all the supplements I took, all the supplements you took, all the supplements the 1.3, 1.4 million people that have already tested took before were mostly completely ineffective. Some of them had a little bit of function, but most of them were completely ineffective. We end up in a situation where the answer is here. All of the people that get tested needs to get on this product. And when they get on this product, then they get results, and then we can prove that with a second test. So if this doesn't go to 100 million people, it means that the 3 billion people are taking nutritional supplements for another reason than me, which means that they're not taking it to be healthy. They take it for the taste, or because they want to show off, or something like highly unlogical. Are you catching this? So now, what stops you from gaining a big team with such an amazing product? What stops you from having a team with 10,000 or 50,000 or 100,000 team members or customers uh, with such a product? That's the big question. And obviously, the title of this little Zoom that we have is that only you stops you. But what does that really mean? And that is that if we study uh, society a little bit in general, you would find that there is a gap between what I call everyone and the people that create more results than normal. And the gap is in their thinking. So there is a thinking gap between the two groups. Many would say, and this, of course, always a little bit challenging to talk about because most of us, most of the time, ends up in the normal group. And sometimes you might, in one area of your life, already be in that special group, the select 2, 3, 4% of the population, which are the high achievers inside of that. And you would find that some people are high achievers in sport, so they end up in that select group, but they end up in the normal group when it comes to money, for instance. Some people are high achievers at their job, but they end up in the normal group when it comes to health. So obviously, there is not one group. But if we bring this over to Zinzino and the people that are achieving great results in Zinzino, and those that are getting normal results in Zinzino, what is the primary difference between the two groups? Well, one group will predominantly respond this way, and that is that they will say, there is something outside of me that stops me. Let me give you an example. You know, the economy is difficult in my city. Another one might be, here was one I had from last weekend. Well, you know, in my city, so many have already joined Zinzino. So that's one that you don't have where you live. So that's a good one. You'd like to get to that one, wouldn't you? Another, but they were in a city where we maybe have 4 or 5% of the population signed up. So they felt that that was a real thing. Another one is, well, everyone in my family got signed up before me, and they already talked to all the people that I know. And I might here is another one. I got this one. Yeah, that was down in Spain, and that was, well, people where I live aren't interested. No, sorry, it was Italy. People where I live aren't interested enough in their health to spend $40 a month on a product. It's another one. So I could make this list probably into 5,000 different items. The point of the list is just that it was a reason outside of you. So whatever is a reason outside of you, could we agree on that that's outside of your control? And that's very important, because if it's outside of your control, that actually means that if you don't succeed, if you don't get results, it's actually not your fault. Are you with me? And I completely agree with that. If it's outside of my control, there is not so much I can do about it. I can try to influence it, but as long as it's not me deciding it, I'm not deciding the economy. So then it's outside of my control. So I can't set of it's just as common to be the opposite way around. So the other group, they think differently. They say, no, it's only me that stops me. It's only you that stops you. There isn't but anybody else. So in an up economy, there is still people that couldn't succeed in Zinzino. And we've had up economy for a lot of the years in Zinzino. In a down economy in Zinzino, there is still people that succeeds in Zinzino, which means that the economy is irrelevant, which means that it's only me that stops me. Then I say, well, if my family already talked to everyone and they're not signed up, I just got to improve my skills a little bit. I got to talk to them in a different way. And then they will sign up with me, and I'll be the first one in my family that builds to Zinzino Diamond or Zinzino Director or Zinzino President or whatever the goal would be. Now, the difference in thinking here is that the second type of thinking is that I am responsible. This is inside of my control. It's only me that stops me, which means that if I have a problem, I can improve, I can change, I can adjust the tactics, and all of a sudden I can. So to the Italians, I said, well, just build a need. Scare them about all the health issues they can get, and maybe then, and I didn't say it quite as straightforward as that, but awaken them about taking care of their health today, because 40 euros a month is very cheap, or 40 bucks a month is very cheap when you eventually have health issues. I mean, how much in this down economy with high inflation do we get in the healthcare system in the US for 40 bucks a month?
Absolutely nothing. And I actually also have that. I mean, Orjan, when people
Yeah.
understand what happened to my son, I would have, if somebody would have told me this would have happened, I would have sold my house. So it's that when people think that this is expensive, it's like, man, all the stories that we hear, I mean, we can't even tell them all because people don't believe them. It's just crazy
Correct.
here in the US.
Correct. Which leads me to the point here is that the minute you understand that building Zinzino has nothing to do with the outside factors, and you move to the thinking of, I'm responsible, I can do this product has a marketplace, or way of doing business is loved by hundreds of millions of people around the world. We're in 46 countries already. We're expanding to the rest of the world. It doesn't matter what the neighbor says. It doesn't matter what my family says. It doesn't matter what happens in the local economy. It doesn't matter what happens in the global economy. It doesn't matter, because I can still do this. And there is at least 500 million, those that are taking omega-3s, that want to know what their test score is. At least 99.5% of them are going to fail the test, which means that they will buy my oil. That's good enough for me. And then you make a statement that I am the responsible. I am the one that can make it happen. And I'm going to stop me. And that's when you realize the only saboteur that you really have in your life in the area of building Zinzino, in the area of building customers with Zinzino, is you. You're the only saboteur. There is no one else. It's you that stops you if you're not getting the progress. How that happens is different between many of you, but most often it's just that you're thinking it's an outside factor. And as long as you think that, it's okay that you're stopped because it's outside of your control. So take charge of that thinking. Say, no, it's not outside of my control. Because really, who stops you from contacting 10 people a day on your name list? Who stops you from contacting 10 new people through social media every day? Who stops you from getting to know 10 people every day? Who stops you from reaching out with your story to all the potential people in your neighborhood? Who stops you from improving? Who stops you from getting better? It's only you that stops you from all the main activities that we do in Zinzino. So when you realize I'm responsible, you also get an enormous power because now you can change your situation and go out and do some incredible results and build it all the way to the top in Zinzino in a matter of a few months if you want to, definitely in a couple of years. And the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to see Zinzino growing at a whole nother level than we've done so far. You're going to see us move into the 40% a year, 50% a year. Hopefully, we're going to move into the triple digit every year for a few years. And in the US specifically, I'm very confident that we will move into the triple digit for a longer period of time because there is so many people that if they knew what you have, and if they knew which results they would have 4 or 5 months later, they would be paying you $100 a month for the product. Maybe 200 even, maybe 500 even. The only problem is they don't know. And that's why they're not asking. Thank you. Back to you, Carla.
You know, Orjan, I love your goals because the thing is everybody needs this. Absolutely everybody. I mean, 97% of the world fail that test. So we need to get the word out. And as you can see, there's a lot of people on from many countries. I know the US is coming into triple digit growths. I see that for so many countries going to do that too. I can see people are on here writing me already. Mexico. And like, yes, I know Mexico too. And I believe Canada, we haven't even got started anywhere. So the potential of this business is absolutely incredible. We just need to talk to more people. Now, you said something about only you are stopping you. So what are the things that people need to do then if they feel that things are stopping? What is it that they need to do?
Take back the responsibility. So whatever you think were stopping you, question that. When you say to yourself, well, any time where you question if you can do it, then saying, what's the reason? What's the reason why I'm questioning that? And if you give an outside factor, say, okay, is that a real outside factor or is it an outside factor where I actually can take back the control? The minute you become responsible, you have the control, you can change it, then it's an inside factor and you can still go ahead and do it. So let's say I have a meeting, my airplane is delayed. That's an outside factor if I don't have internet, which actually stops me from doing the meeting. Most of the time, I can take back control and say, well, let's move it to an online meeting instead. And it still didn't stop me, even though it was a very severe outside factor. But there is times where you're stopped by a real incident that you can't control. But in 98, 99% of the times, it's not a real outside factor that stops you. Is you are giving up your control to the outside factor instead of saying, no, that's not true. I'm responsible. 5 people said no on my name list. That's very real. That happened. But that doesn't stop you from building the business. Or 2 people quit in your business. That's real. That happened. But that doesn't stop you from building the business. You can take control back over those kind of things, improve, sign up 5 new ones. They become the next 2 diamonds in your team. And hey, then you're a director.
I like that you're bringing that up because one of the things I think almost most of the excuses people are making, or most of the things that really hurt, and in my experience, this is what hurt me the most, is all the emotional things that people do quit, or that somebody stopped taking the product, or people that think you're crazy, or that somebody said something not very nice. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that say different things, so it gets kind of emotional. So what would you say in regards to those things of what would people do about that?
Say that one more time. I have a meeting that I had to
Okay, I will
that
be
I'm a
real
little bit
quick on
late.
this. I just want to give people those tools for what is holding them back. And I think the main one that I see is the emotional things. It's the when you have a good friend who says, I don't believe in that, or somebody does want to quit and you take it personal. So it's an emotional thing that holds you back. What would
And that's the inside of you stopping you.
you? Mhm.
So that's not even an outside factor. That's actually an inside factor, which is really real. How do you get past that? And that's I wouldn't say that this is like super easy. Uh, you have to be very determined to do it. But if you have a clear written down goal, you have a clear written down plan, and you have the reasons why you want to succeed with it, then visiting those pre-written things can get you out of the emotions and back to track. Now, that process, when you get really good at it, is a few minutes. In the beginning, that's usually a longer time. And that's like I was just with a teacher parents meeting with Gabriel. He is in fourth grade, moving into fifth grade, and they talked about what they were going to focus on during fifth grade. And during fifth grade, most of the teaching in school today, yes, there is some classes too, but they say, well, the most important thing that they learn in fifth grade is to gain better emotional impulses and better emotional control. And then I was wondering, do I need to send everyone I'm working with back to fifth grade? Because I think we really could need that stuff, all of us. That was like my thinking in the middle of it. But in fifth grade, that was when I was supposed to learn that. I had to do 20, 25 years of personal development before I was sort of starting to master these things. But what I did during all of the years where I didn't master my emotions, which I do better today. I'd be open about that. I'm pretty emotional stable today, at least most of the time. But for all of those years where I didn't master that, I had my comeback strategy, and that was to always have available, very easily at hand, what my target was, why my target was what it was, and all the reasons why. And then my, like, eventually, if that didn't help, my strategy was, and this was back many years ago when we had cassette tapes players in the car, I would go down to the car and then I would force myself to push in a personal development cassette tape into the car. I would take my left hand and force my right hand to push play and let somebody else work on me for a while so that I could snap out of my bad emotions and get in some good emotions, look at my goals again, look at my plan again, and then tell myself, would I like to be where I am now, or would I like to go there? And because my dreams, my plans were so clear, the answer always became yes. And then when you've done that yes answer again and 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 again, it becomes a neural pathway. So eventually you're in the situation, your emotions wants to get you, but then your neural pathway says, no, I still want to go there. So forget about it. I'm not even going to take the fight this time. I'm not going to end up in the situation where I'm down and under. I'm just going to continue. That's sad that it happened, but let's move on and let's make my life great.
Love it. Well, we're going to follow that and follow you. And I know you've got a meeting coming up. But Orjan, thank you so much for taking the time to be on here. The goals of what Zinzino has for this are incredible. And I know we're going to do that because everybody needs this. And we need to, now that we know what we know, we need to get the word out. So Orjan, thank you so much.
Thank you. I
So
got to go. Thank you, guys. Be
wonderful.
blessed.
Be blessed. Thank you, everybody, for
Thank
joining.
you.
Let's get out
Thank
there.
you.
and create next level.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Bye-bye.
Orjan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank you.
Yes, nice work.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye, Jim.
Thank you. Appreciate the
Gracias.
meeting.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Have a great day.
you.
Let's
Thank
get out there and finish
Bye.
this
Thank
month
you.
strong. Let's tell everybody about Zinzino. Bye, everybody.
Will do.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Be well.